I, 29F, am paying for most things in my relationship with my boyfriend, 32M. Where's the line? Me and my boyfriend have been together for about 4 years now. He's been in med school, residency for the entirety of our relationship, and has a pretty crippling amount of student debt. I, on the other hand, have fortunately graduated with no loans and have a pretty well-paying job. I happily covered rent, a lot of meals, vacations, etc. over the years because I loved him and didn't want him to be stressed over finances. And he always tried to cover what he could, which I appreciated. Lately though I've been feeling a bit like he's started to take all this for granted. We split rent now, but I still cover all our other bills. I also had been doing the bulk of cooking and cleaning as well, but when I got too overwhelmed with work and couldn't clean as much, I hired a cleaner to help occasionally. Recently, in an argument, where I told him I want to feel more love and appreciation, my boyfriend told me, "Why? You barely do anything around here or anything for me." I asked if he meant it and he said yes. He's also told me that I should call the cleaner, that I pay for, more often, instead of offering to help out more with cleaning. He also says stuff like, "It's only $X, when it's something I'm covering for us." These are just some of many things he says that make me feel like, what if he's just with me for financial reasons? Is this okay, normal in a relationship where one person is financially struggling? Is it selfish of me to want a little acknowledgement, appreciation for my contribution? Oh hell no, he's too comfy. Chores and cooking should be 50-50. Why? You barely do anything around here or anything for me. What does he offer you though? He also says stuff like, "It's only $X, when it's something I'm covering for us." If it's only $X, then surely he can pay for it. I don't know your relationship, but he just seems very entitled from this post. I'd suggest only paying for yourself from now on. Sit down with him and show him a list of what you pay for versus what he pays for, and what chores you do versus what chores he does. Then see how he responds. Ooh honey, med students do this a lot. You're an ATM till they making doctor money. Then he'll dump you. Get out now. Would you let a friend treat you this way? Why does he get a pass? Your partner is supposed to be nicer to you than other people are, not worse. You have realized that you are the owner of a parasite that is wearing student doctor clothing. The minute he qualifies and gets going, he will feel indebted to you and he will drop you like a hot potato. I have seen this many times in this sub. It seems med students use women like cash cows. Most are narcissistic wankers who expect you to wait on them hand and foot, clean after them and be their financial support, but the moment they start making money, it's all theirs. None realize that you are the person who has facilitated their entire education. They earned it all themselves. Sure they did. This is the pretty stereotypical interaction people have with SOs in professional school. Hopefully it goes better for you, but if his respect for you is inversely proportional to the amount of time he has remaining before he starts making money, that's not a great sign. Girl, never date med school, residency students, or law students. They always use women for money. You will have to support them for years, and when they finally start earning good money and no longer need your help financially, they will leave you and start dating younger, hotter women. It's not worth it. Move on and find someone that is more financially stable. Boyfriend got a name tattooed on him. Hi all, this is my first post, so sorry if I mess anything up. So my F24 boyfriend, M25, loves tattoos and frequently gets spontaneous ones. The problem now is that he has gotten a tattoo of his best friend's signature on his stomach, and it's not small. My issue with it is that he did not tell me that's the tattoo he was planning on getting, and when I saw him, he had it written on his body in marker. I told him please don't get it. I understand it's his body and he can choose, but I told him I didn't like the thought of having to see his best friend's name every time he has his shirt off or have sex. I told him before he got the tattoo that I really did not want him to do this. And he still went and did it anyways. I'm torn because I don't want to break up, but I don't want to have this tattoo in my face all the time either. Especially since I feel like a third wheel when his friend is around all the time anyways, and now it's like he's always going to be there. I don't know what to do. If you can't get past it, break up with him. I would find it weird as fuck if my best friend wanted to get my signature tattooed on them. Like in no way would I co-sign, that by signing my name on them. Hell, it'd be pretty weird if my partner asked that too. LMAOIDK any of y'all, but from your comments it sounds to me like they are in a DL relationship and your boyfriend isn't ready to be out yet, so to prove his love, devotion, he got his roommate, boyfriend's name on him. After reading your comments, break up. He loves his best friend. He uses you as a beard. You waste you time and after years you will catch them having sex. Why didn't he get your signature if he lives you so much? Because his BFF is his owner, not you. Just start calling out the best friend's name during sex. If he complains, say, "Oh sorry, can't help but read it there." If he gets turned on? Well, that's more important info. The whole thing is weird. That is like an ownership thing. It is time to move on from him. Let him and his roommate continue their bromance in peace. Boyfriend wants to break up after a miscarriage. I feel awful and don't know what to do. He thinks that I did it on purpose for some reason. We have been together for years and while we did not want to get married yet the baby was a major surprise but he said he wanted to make things right during the pregnancy. I'm so sorry for your loss. Let him go. Even without the paper that says you're married. A commitment like what you were planning is through better or worse, and he just proved he can't handle worse. I'm so sorry you're going through this. That's an awful thing to accuse someone of. Trust is important to every aspect of a relationship. If he isn't trusting enough to believe that you wouldn't do that then it could be a blessing in disguise before he accuses you of something else heinous in the future. What an awful and cruel thing to say. If you have any interest in salvaging this relationship, insist on couples counseling and grief counseling. But honestly, do you want to be with a person that handles his grief or anger in such a nasty way? I'm so sorry. This man is an idiot. 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. He's shown you who he is, an uneducated fool who won't stick with you during the hard times. He did you a favor. If anyone wants to break up, you let them. He's a maxi douchebag. Move on to a happier place in the universe. You dodged a bullet having to raise a kid with him. I imagine this would affect you on a much more personal scale. His support is crucial for you and it's unfair that he makes it completely about him. How to deal with being the only Democrat in a Republican family. Title says it all. My parents and somehow my younger brothers are all staunch Republicans. This has been a contentious issue for some years now, but this week after the tragic events in Texas, it's almost unbearable to hear them care more about how much more taxes they pay with Democratic leadership, rather than how little Republican elected officials have done to help prevent these acts of inhumanity. Anytime I try to start a friendly but serious debate, my parents' go-to response is that I've gone to a liberal college, minored in a liberal art, sociology, so I'm brainwashed. Does anyone have any advice for dealing with this? It bothers me both on a morality level and bothers me that they insult the education they were so excited for me to get. Edit. Thank you to everyone who's answered with constructive advice. A point that's been made multiple times is that I am setting myself up by starting these debates. I do engage in starting these conversations, but only to try and get them to see how ridiculous the frequency in mass shootings in the US is. In this scenario I brought up common-sense gun regulation and asked them why they think Abbott of TX would sign 7 laws that make it even easier to obtain a weapon, or why Trump would roll back regulation that made it harder for people with mental illnesses to purchase a gun. I made it clear I wasn't talking about the state we were living in or who they voted for, just Texas. The fact that even in situations like this they're still unbudging is something I think is important to see. But like some of you said, that just may have to unfortunately be empathy earned through experience. Yeah, stop trying to debate them LMAO. Anytime I try to start a friendly but serious debate. Don't do this. Don't talk politesses with them. Take up drinking at family events. And stop trying to debate, it's not gonna work LMAO. In my experience there is no such thing as a productive political debate in person. A proper debate involves both sides sourcing their ideas and offering rational evidence and analysis. Whenever there's a question of truth, where both sides disagree on a fundamental fact, people can compare the quality of sources and evidence and come to their own conclusions. This sort of rigorous debate happens in academia. It never happens in a debate around the dinner table. In Reddit, outside of neutral politics, a subreddit that requires you to source facts in statements you make even within dedicated political subs, it almost never happens. Most political posts on Reddits are crammed full of emotional appeals, anecdotes, and unsourced statements. Don't talk to them about politics if you don't enjoy the resulting exchanges.